Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So I was trying to find out some models which could be used for communication, and I came across this one which seems easy to me, which is prep framework. So it is largely based on pointing out on the giving starting with the point that is your conclusion, and then giving the reason for it behind your conclusion. After you have given the reason, you have to justify it using an example. And after giving the example, you have justified your point, and again, you will quote your point here. So that's how prep framework work. So what I will be doing is to practice this, I will use them into my daily sessions that I have in of impromptu challenge that we are doing. So maybe you can learn from it something. Even this is new to me, and I will be trying this for the first time. So let's see how I perform, or also you can compare yourself with me. Where do you stand? So starting with the challenge today, I have opened the same website that we used last time. It is impromptu.org. You can open this link directly, or you can check on the description. I have put down the link there. Okay, I'll start with the challenge now. So my first phrase for today is, what if you woke up and it was always the same day? It would be pretty boring, because you will be doing the same thing again and again each and every day. So it won't make any difference to your life. You won't feel to go to another day and leave things for another day. And there will be no reason for getting up again tomorrow, because you won't be moving ahead anywhere and you would be at the same point, right? Having said that, to give an example, suppose you have to work. Oh, let's say you are building a house of your dream. You are constructing a house. So when you get up in the morning, you hire laborers and they come to your place, and you are all excited and filled with this excitement of making your house, and you guide the laborers to work accordingly, and they do some improvements. They make some progress during the day till the night, and when you go to sleep, you expect that this goes further tomorrow and work gets progressed as fast as possible. But somehow what happens is, when you get up tomorrow, you start from scratch again, go to the laborers and do the same thing again. So you won't be getting anywhere. That's the whole point. So there is no point of having this thing. It was always the same day. What if you woke up and it was always the same day? It would be boring, right? You won't be getting anywhere. By the time you realize that it is always the same day, you won't make any effort to make changes in your life. You will simply lie down on your bed and you won't be wanting to do anything else. So that is what I can think of. So yeah, I think I managed well to apply prep model for the first time for me. Next phrase is, what if you could only move by rolling everywhere? I think it was covered last time. What if you could only see in black and white? It would be boring, because you won't be able to wear clothes of different colors and distinguish yourself from others. For example, there is a party going on and you want to wear flashy clothes so that everyone look at you, and it suits your profile and the kind of work that you do. Maybe you are a magician. You want to look different and flashy so that people find you attractive. But what happens is, instead of using different kind of colors, you would be boring. You won't be able to use flashy colors. And for better, let's say you become a joker, but you don't have any colors on your clothes. Everyone see you as dull as others. They won't be able to see any color that you have on your clothes, because everything that is there is black and white only. There are no colors at all. So I think it will take all the fun out of joker thing. So that would make everything boring, right? Yeah, I think again I have applied the prep model well. So next phrase is, what if you could only sleep 2 hours per day? If that is possible and if it is scientifically appropriate that 2 hours of sleep is enough, so we would be able to achieve a lot of things in our life. Only because we have more time now when we don't have to sleep, and we can productively work for ourselves, for our work that we are doing or pursuing. So having said that, for example, now you want to do your job that is for 9 to 10 hours. So 10 hours of your time is taken away. Remaining 14 hours you currently that you were spending in, spending time with your family, or maybe you are working on side hustle, or maybe your own peaceful time that you want to spend doing meditation or helping others. So all these things were there, and 8 hours of sleep is necessary. So only 6 hours could be allotted out of those 14 hours to your recreational activity or spending time with your family and friends. But this time could increase by another 6 hours, and you would have 12 hours for yourself and your family and your side hustle that you are planning from a very long time. So that would make a lot of things better. You would be able to do more in the day as well as night, and it's simply yes as that you would be able to achieve more, I guess. Next phrase is, what if you could shrink to the size of an ant? You would be able to get to any place because you are so small. For example, you are an ant and you become so small in that manner, and you want to, that is your ability that you can get small as much as ant. So what you will happen is, let's say you dropped your keys behind the drawer or behind your almirah, and you find it difficult to move the almirah only because of its heavy size. But if you have that ability to become like an ant and make your size a little bit smaller, so you can get small and run behind the almirah to get the keys out, so that you don't have to worry about how you will put your hand behind almirah, which is so big, and it doesn't fit the gaps between almirah and the floor. So that would be very helpful. That's what I'm saying, it would be helpful at some point of time. Next phrase is, what if you could only eat food you grew yourself? That would make it difficult for everyone to focus more on their work and core activities, and everyone would spend a lot of time in growing the food. So I think by that manner economy won't be performing very well. Reason being, most of the time of the people will be spent on eating or growing the food and taking care of it. And there are some regions where soil doesn't support the food generation or growing the food, so it becomes difficult for them, and it would be a little, they won't be able to use the resources properly. For example, there are two lands, one is mining land and another is this, which is very good for agriculture. So place where there is mining land, what would happen is, if people try to grow fruits, vegetables or food over there, it would be very difficult and next to impossible to grow food over there. Similarly, if people in place A where it is appropriate for food growing, but those people are able to grow food, but it is plenty of the food and they don't know what to do with the remaining part of it, they have motorcycles but they don't have fuel to run it, which could come from another place B. So it would be difficult if place B doesn't have option to eat food grown by place A, because there won't be any exchange at all. Any extra food that place B has, it goes in vain. So it will be very difficult for place A to earn out of it. So it is, I don't know, it is just confusing at all. It won't work good for the economy, I guess. So yeah, that was all from my side. Next phrase is, what if you could only use your non-dominant hand? So I think if you could use only your non-dominant hand, so at some part of time when that hand is trained, it will become accustomed to being used as a dominant player or a dominant hand. So there would not be any point of having a non-dominant hand then. It will beat itself and become dominant hand, and again you won't be having any non-dominant hand at all. For example, now you brush your teeth with your right hand. What if you start and you are accustomed to it and you are comfortable doing that? You don't feel any extra effort while doing so. But what happens is, when you try to brush your teeth using left hand, it becomes a little difficult. Your brain works in different way and it becomes active because you are doing something which you are not accustomed to and you are not comfortable with, which your body doesn't usually supports. So that is there. Yeah, so after some point it would be a dominant hand. You will have both hands as dominant. Okay, moving on to the next last phrase for today. What if you had perfect memory but couldn't forget anything? It would be, I think, difficult sometimes, because you won't be able to forget memories which have no relevance in your life, and you just don't want to memorize them or remember them later when you are go proceed or further in your life, because those are very bad memories. Let's say someone had a very bad accident and he lost a lot of things out of that accident, and it became impossible for him to forget about it and move on. Thought of that accident haunts him again and again, and he is not happy about it at all, and at some point he wants to forget it, but he is not able to, which could be a real life problem nowadays. But yeah, if you don't have the ability to forget, it would be very difficult to forget at all. It would be next to impossible. But using NLP technique, I think I can help such person who couldn't forget anything. I will help him forget that thing by applying NLP techniques that I have learned during practitioner course. So yeah, that is all I guess for today. I hope I was able to apply prep model accordingly and appropriately. See you in